All right, like we thought would happen, Celtics won game 5. It's 3-2. This is it. Tonight is you're an NBA fan, you're looking forward to tonight. 3-2, back in Miami. TD, who's winning this series? Celtics or Heat?
I think the Celtics are going to pull it off. I think the Celtics are going to do it. Just like yesterday or the last game, I thought, boy, would I be shocked if the Heat win this game today. And they didn't. And I feel the same way about this game. The momentum has totally shifted. Remember at the end of game 3, I texted everyone, I said, the Heat look rattled. And that was the first time. And you know what? I think the bubble burst. I think the Heat bubble, all these undrafted, everything in the media, I think it got exploded at the end of that game 3, and it has not been recovered. I think what Butler should have done, because like we were saying in the last podcast, this isn't about X's O's. It's all about the dog in you, the hustle, the work. And Zaf, all the post-game interviews have reflected what we said. You listen to Jaylen Brown post-game, he goes, listen, we were the ones that brought the energy today. It's all about energy. I think Butler had an opportunity to guarantee a game 6 win. I think that was the chance to, you know, readjust the energy back in the Heat's favor because they had it. Now they don't. But ends up, we all know. Celtics win tonight. There's no way they lose at home. Game 7, Boston Garden, ghosts of Larry Bird.
I
It's not
disagree with you
happening.
there. I disagree with you there. Because I agree. First of all, it's incredibly hard to pick this. Let's just be honest, because to win 4 games in a row is very tough, but I'm with you. I think the Celtics are a team that when their backs are against the wall, that's when they decide to play. And I was listening to Eddie House, who's the Boston analyst. The difference is the intensity in defense. The Celtics have picked up the intensity these last couple games, and they could play big-time defense. Smart, defensive player of the year. Tatum's long. Brown could play defense. Williams is so big. They've got players, and their defense, and you also can't ignore the injury to Vincent. They're already down Hero, Oladipo. When you're the underdog and you're hurt, that's a lot to overcome. So I'm with you.
He's coming back, though. Vincent's coming back tonight.
Yeah, but is he going to be 100%? Is he going to be 100%? And
and like and like Eddie House said, if your plan to win is Gabe Vincent, you're in trouble.
Exactly. And the Heat need to rain threes. Now, this is why I'm not at all confident, though. I mean, I think momentum has switched. The Celtics, with their backs against the wall, when they play defense the way they're playing defense, and that gets easy buckets, and then all of a sudden they start hitting their threes, they're very hard to beat. And they're such a talented, deep team. However, there's a couple warning signs, what makes me nervous and why it's so hard to pick. The Celtics, the last 2 games they've won, they've blown the Heat out. They've intense defense, fast breaks. The game was over. A close game, though. If this game is close, you trust Butler in those last 5 minutes more than you trust Tatum. When it's a close, tight game, that's what I really worry about. And you brought up the point, and everyone's saying this, if the Celtics win game 6, there's no way they lose game 7. I disagree. Because in my opinion, if the Celtics drop their intensity just enough, that could open up the door for the Heat to regain that mental edge they have. And I could see the Celtics going into Miami. They win game 6. They're all puffing out their chest. The media's picking them, and they come out and lay a dud. I could see that happening. So in my opinion, 4 games in a row is still very hard to do. I would not be surprised at all if Butler and the Heat pull it out game 6 or game 7. But if I had to pick, I think the momentum and just the injuries that the Celtics are more healthy. Brogdon's not, he's a little hurt, but in general, the Celtics are fully healthy and the Heat are not. And that's a huge advantage as well. So
Those are two
so,
great points. That is a great point because the Celts right now, they do have the edge. They haven't been close games. And if
yep,
anything can remind the Heat and just shift it in their favor is if the game gets close in the
yep,
fourth, all of a sudden, that's where the Heat have the edge again.
yep,
So if the Celts cannot, you're right, they cannot let it get to a close game.
yeah.
And another point on the Celts, you know who I really think their key is, and the most never talked about guy. And I
Smart.
think he won the game. I think he won the game yesterday.
Yeah.
First play, first, and everyone says the Celtics are the pedigreed team. He's the pedigreed guy. He's the one with the DPOY award,
Yep.
and he played like it yesterday. And when Smart scores too, when he gets those layups and he hits some threes, 5 steals, and he set the pace right away. First play of the game, he just stole the ball, dove on the ground. So, but yeah, that's some great points. The Heat right now they've forgotten and they can't find the people they were that won those first 3 games. It's gone. It's lost in their heads. But if anything will make them find it,
Close
I don't think
game.
it'll. I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so hard to pick. But what's honestly leaning me towards Celtics is the injuries. I just think that's a little bit that the Celtics are just fully healthy, and I think Gabe Vincent, because he's also a ball handler. I think that's like they
And
were,
also, Zav, their bubble, I think, has popped.
yeah.
They were playing out of their minds
They
to
got like
get to this point,
Highsmith
Zav.
is playing big minutes now. Highsmith
Yeah.
playing 36. That's my point. That's too much to ask. It's too
And you
much to ask,
forget,
in my
Zav,
opinion.
what they did to get here. You
Yeah.
remember they lost that playing game,
Yep.
and the run from then, they knocked the Bucks out. They had monster games from Butler. They had monster games beating the Heat, which was not easy. Then
I
they
mean, the
stormed
Knicks.
the 3 lead to the Knicks with injured players, with the bench guys. Everyone, I think they just peaked. They did so much to get to that 0-3, and I think it just popped, and they've collapsed a little.
But
And
I
they
I also think
drag it.
with going up 3-0 and blowing them out game 3, I think they lost a little of that underdog, like, because they realized we're the underdog. We have to fight tooth and nail. I think they lost a little bit about that these last couple games, and they showed it. I was
Well, yeah.
watching Get
Well,
Up. They
yeah.
weren't getting back on defense the way they were against the Knicks. If you remember the Knicks,
Oh, yeah.
they got no easy. They were back on defense, and that killed the Knicks because the Knicks love to play defense, rebound, guys like Josh Hart running, Obi Toppin, and the Heat ran back on D. And you saw last game, the Celtics with their intense defense, they got some easy buckets, and that just the basket looks bigger after that. That's what happened with Marcus Smart. Jaylen Brown, you get a couple fast break steals, layups, you're in the game, you're feeling good. It's
Yeah,
easy
and they were
to hit those
moving the
threes.
ball. Top, they were zipping the ball
They
around.
were.
When you make a pass, but you put a little like mustard on it and you kind of make it with style, you notice they always hit the shots.
Yep.
When Curry just like whips a pass and he just starts jogging around on the other way, I think the confidence with which you pass, it feeds off to the guy taking the shot. And
100.
yesterday, the Celtics, they just looked good. They looked cool. Even Tatum was just whipping these passes. Smart, no look, corner, boom, just whipped it to the side, flinging it around. When you play with that confidence and that zip, and the Heat don't have that level. They don't have that level.
Nope.
And if the so
The Heat chances, you know what? It's a close game, and the Celtics clamp up a little bit, and Butler does what he does. That's what happened games 1 and 2. Game 2, remember the Celtics twice had a chance to open up the game. They didn't do it, and in the last 5 minutes, you just felt the Heat were going to win. So it's so much about which. If the Celtics, like you're right, the Heat don't have that level. If the Celtics bring that intensity, especially on defense, they're very hard to beat. And that's
and
why,
yeah,
yep.
and I think all the Heat's guys have already used up their bullets. We already got these monster 50-point game from Butler against the Bucks. You already got Duncan Robinson going unconscious. You already got Gabe Vincent scoring 31 points or whatever it was. I think they've and now they had to rely on Lowry the other day. He had a terrible game, turned it over. He's hurt, and I agree. I think they're just beat down. They're injured, and wow, that this one game is going to be the hardest thing in the world for the Heat to get.
But it's also going to be hard for the Celtics unless they come. The Celtics just have to keep that intensity.
I agree.
If, if any drop, I think the Heat have this. The littlest drop. Yep.
I don't think they're going to drop them. I really don't. I think the pain they felt going down 0-3 and them saying this will define us, this will define us, I don't think they're going to let it up. I would be surprised if the Heat won, but wow, I'd be impressed if they did. But all right, we got a big game, 8:30.
This is something to look forward to. All right, we're giving it. We think the Celtics are going to make history. All right, see you.
All right.